Several stories in today's news, beginning with the unseemly underbelly of the legislative process. The number of Americans who do not have jobs and are actively looking for jobs has risen to a staggering 10.2%. Not since 1983 has the job market been this bad. And so it probably comes as a great relief to those millions of unemployed Americans to know that President Obama signed legislation today extending unemployment benefits for up to 20 weeks. Less relieving to those millions of unemployed Americans is what it took to get this no-brainer bill passed. Republicans filibustered it 3 times over the course of 5 weeks, in part because they wanted to try to add to it an unrelated bill targeting ACORN. In the end, they were not successful, and the final vote was unanimous, 98-0 in favor of extending unemployment benefits. A victory for everyone, except for the 200,000 Americans who saw their benefits run out so Republicans could try to wage more war on ACORN. There's also an update today on the death of Bill Sparkman, a part-time field worker for the U.S. Census, whose apparent murder we covered extensively on this show when it was first reported in September. Mr. Sparkman's body was found hanging from a tree near a cemetery in the Daniel Boone National Forest in rural southeastern Kentucky. It was determined that he died of asphyxiation. Mr. Sparkman's death became national news when an unnamed law enforcement source told the Associated Press that Mr. Sparkman was found with the word FED, F-E-D, presumably as in federal government, scrawled on his chest. The Clay County coroner later confirmed that report. Well, now 2 anonymous officials tell the AP that they are increasingly less inclined to believe Mr. Sparkman's death was a homicide. Although Mr. Sparkman's body was found naked and blindfolded with his census worker ID duct taped to his head and neck, his mouth gagged, and his hands and feet bound, the AP's sources now say they believe he may have committed suicide. Quoting from the AP, quote, "There were no defensive wounds on Sparkman's body, and while his hands were bound with duct tape, they were still somewhat mobile, suggesting he could have manipulated the rope." The Kentucky State Police continue to investigate William Sparkman's death. If and when they make a final determination in this case, we will, of course, let you know. And finally, to our Department of Corrections. On last night's show, I made fun of House Minority Leader John Boehner because at yesterday's Whites of Their Eyes, Michelle Bachmann-led anti-health reform rally on the Capitol steps, he waggled a copy of the Constitution at the crowd, bragged that he was standing with the Founding Fathers, and then said he was quoting the preamble to the Constitution, while he actually quoted from the Declaration of Independence. Being myself constitutionally incapable of leaving well enough alone, I then excitedly exclaimed, not that he wasn't reading from the preamble to the Constitution, but that there wasn't a preamble to the Constitution at all, which of course is total nonsense, and which I'm very sorry to have said. However, it does also give me the opportunity to do penance to the preamble by, you know what's coming, don't you? Get up. Get out of your chair, and let me not only apologize to the preamble, but join us all together now in Civics Geek karaoke to the Schoolhouse Rock version of the preamble. Go, 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 go.
The first part of the Constitution is called the preamble and tells what those founding fathers set out to do. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
America. It's never fun to have to correct a mistake, but this one was pretty close to fun. Thank you, Schoolhouse Rock. I'm very sorry.